Hello, my name is Alison Leigh Menke. I'm so thrilled to bring my pieces to you all this evening. We're here at HorseSpirit Arts Gallery in historic Savage Mill, and I have with me the largest painting I've created to date. It's a studio work. Though I'm a plein air painter, I've, this past year with COVID, really been able to explore the studio and translate small pieces, such as this one, into a large painting. It's basically palette knife, spatula, brushwork, and all sorts of tools that I've explored throughout this past year and been able to create the large marks and the large expressions that I hope to share in this show today. So I'd love to share these two paintings with you. Maryland Farm, it's actually a farm close to Savage Mill, is actually a really fun piece because I painted part of it in plein air and then took it into the studio and worked on those big shapes and pulling some chroma and exaggerating some of the color, like the play of purples and oranges here. It's a very active painting. There are lots of sharp lines with my palette knife, big brush work, and I think it kind of zooms into the scene, which is kind of cool. And then this piece is also one that has a lot of motion that's built in with the pattern and rhythm of the shadows. This piece is Autumn Swirl, and it's exactly that. It's a swirl of light, and it plays off of the rhythm of the trees. I love that it's an autumn scene and just a few leaves falling. So Light Brushes is one of over 30 paintings that I did in my backyard when COVID started. I wanted to really use that time to study the light and to work on mark making. And what I did here, which I particularly love about this piece, it's a bit more abstract, it's suggestive rather than necessarily focusing on light. But I was working on mark making, getting those large tools and working on a small surface really helps simplify paintings. So these pieces are near and dear because they are basically the field of my knowledge and what I've learned outside. And I take those and I can translate them into large pieces in the studio. Why don't we talk about statues of the West? I spent a little bit of time in Zion this past year, and I loved the sculptural elements of the rocks out west. And I wanted to create a piece that had both that presence of a large red wall in front of you, but also playing around with different tools, such as some rubber sculpting tools that I used throughout this area. This is a canyon piece. It's of the Gunnison River Black Canyon, and I created it this summer through a photo. I really love this piece because it really plays on design. I've used the shape of the canyon to create this very vivacious blue cavity in the earth, and it's really basically one big shape. So I love this piece because it's a little more abstract, but it's so suggestive of the rich colors that you see in a deep gorge. So this piece, it's called River Walk. It's 24 inches by 24. I really love it because it's a great representation of the color wheel. There's so much chroma in the painting. You've got bright blues, reds, greens, yellows, and it's all moving in a really fun circular motion throughout the painting. It's a really great example of expressive work and mark making.